Assalamu alaikum viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope so you will be well. I am also fine. Before starting my video, I request you kindly subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. In this video, I am telling you about Donne as a metaphysical poet. Donne's poetry is realistic and not metaphysical. Do you agree? PU 1994. Ans. The term metaphysical is a misnomer for Donne. In fact, Donne is called so on account of his stylistic devices, which were novel in his period. His poetry is not metaphysical in its contents, rather, most of the time wrote in the fashion of 17th century. That is why he is closer to 17th century writers and poets than to the metaphysical poets. The term metaphysical means beyond physical, which further means philosophical. Dryden was the first to use this term by saying that Donne affects metaphysics. Later, Dr. Johnson used this term for Donne. However, we cannot call Donne's poetry metaphysical explicitly. Furthermore, though Dr. Johnson used this term for Donne in a derogatory sense, yet the qualities in umbrated about his poetry are valid to a great extent. In brief, the term metaphysical poetry implies the characteristics of complexity, intellectuality, uh, abundance of a subtle wit, fusion of intellect and emotion, colloquial argumentative tone, conceits, scholarly allusions, and philosophical elements. In his life, Donne was never called a metaphysical poet at all. The 17th century poets labeled his poetry as a strong line poetry, mainly on account of two reasons: this concise expression and his deliberate roughness. But after his death, his poetry was revaluated, and some other important features were found in it which won the title of a metaphysical poet. For Donne, Gridson defines metaphysical poetry as a poetry. This is the words of Gridson. Inspired by by a philosophical concept of the universe and the role assigned to human spirit in the great drama of existence. The definition is based on the metaphysical poetry of Dante, Goethe, and Yeats. So, in its true sense, the term metaphysical is applicable to poetry either whose subject matter is highly philosophical or which touches philosophy. The term metaphysical was first applied to his poetry by Dr. Johnson, who picked up this from Dryden, who once remarked, Donne affects metaphysics not only in his styles but in his amours verses too, where nature only should reign. Still, his poetry is not metaphysical in its contents, rather in the qualities of the style. Though he deals with metaphysical problems in his poems, yet he does not present any new philosophy. For example, he deals with the problem of one and many, unity to diversity, the relationship between spirit and flesh. Then the discuss the problem of body and soul, etc. The true sense these problems do not present any philosophy. In this divine poems too, there are two he talks about the crucifixion and schism in religion, things already well known to people. So his poetry is not philosophical in its contents. Donne was not a philosopher, neither his mind was prone philosophy. He was rather controversial and logical or analytical. He did not present and philosophy. Still, we call him a metaphysical poet on account of his style, which is peculiar to him. His all pairwise with produce peculiar qualities in this poetry. Firstly, his poetry is full of conceits. In his poetry, we find far-fetched connections. We find imagination welling in passions. He compares unreciprocated love to serpent because it's poisonous all over joys. Similarly, the separation between the two lovers has been identified with the expansion of piece of gold beaten routinous in a valediction for binding morning, he says, a bridge but an expansion like gold to artiness beat. In the same poem, the true lovers have been compared to stiff twin compasses, he says. If they be two, they are two, so as stiff twin compasses are two. Okay, understand? Okay, viewers, thanks for watching my video. Kindly subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for more interesting videos. Allah Hafiz.